more I read, the more I researched, the more I studied, I started realizing this through line throughout all knowledge. And it was language itself, the literal building block of civilization. And it's not by accident. We think language is this framework that only builds up. But there's a dark side to language that I think we need to talk about and understand so that we can make sure that the language that we are using to talk about ourselves, to talk about the world, and to talk about others actually accomplishes the purposes that you and I want to. You see, we live in a time where language is being weaponized. You either agree with me or you're evil. You either see things my way or it's the highway. There's more division in our times than has ever occurred. Division in families, division in marriages, division politically. And that goes beyond just normal disagreements. See, division happens when people are so captured by language that the ones who modeled their specific language style, for instance, whether that's, let's go political for just half a second. If that is liberal, I can't say words today, liberal versus conservative, what that means is the ones who have framed the language around your political group are smart, and they build in what is called like a failsafe, which means that within the language that they're teaching you, whether that's in school, whether that's on social media, whether that's at a rally, whatever it may be, they have things that will stop your brain from considering other options. It's how cults control people. We've been doing it since the beginning of time. And language, when it's used in this way, divides and destroys. Now, I would argue that's intentional, and that actually nobody really wants good or right things anymore. But I am willing to be corrected on that. The thing I want to talk to you about is language and teach you how, when you start to understand the big picture, the frameworks, the way that language morphs when it's translated to other languages, the way understanding is lost over time, and the way that when understanding is lost, it opens the door for really ignorant critique, very ignorant divisions. And I think that what we need in our time more than anything is healing. It's love. And there's only one source for that. But unfortunately, that source has been hijacked and tainted at times throughout history. And so my goal throughout this series is to help you understand the depth of what we're missing. See, guys, when I was 21 years old, after being an atheist, taught to be an atheist in school, I had an encounter that changed my entire life. I went from being hopeless, purposeless, suicidal, to being filled with hope, with being able to feel my emotions again. And I lost it because of religious people. They forced me to think like them, accept the things they accept, told me if I questioned things that I was doubtful and that was sin, told me that I had to see it their way because they were my spiritual authority and I had to submit to them. They were operating as a cult. But I'm grateful that I'm stubborn because eventually I found my way back. And I would say someone helped me find my way back. But this book, I'm an English speaker. And if you're watching this, you probably are too, unless you're watching the Spanish version. This book was not written in our language. And in this series, I'm going to show you how this book actually is so much more nuanced and deep and beautiful and sits symbiotically with science, philosophy, history in a way that the English language misses. Specifically, you and I are going to look at words and what they actually mean in their original language, because this book was written in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. And you may not know what that means. You may not be an expert in language. That's okay. You're in the right place, because I'm not either. But I have studied my brains out. I have studied so hard and learned so much. And I just want to share that with you, just as a fellow human. And I think your mind is going to be blown. So listen, if you don't believe, as they say, that's okay. My goal is not to get you into a church. That's not my task right now. My goal is to have a conversation and let you ask questions. But I'm going to talk about some things that are going to open up your eyes to the big picture of what this book is about. And you're going to start to see that history makes sense, our current times make sense, and you're going to see that it's kind of insane that we've been convinced that this is of no value. So welcome to The Voice in the Wild. This is what I'm about. Looking at this book through the lens of all the other religions, all the languages, all the historical mythologies, all the psychological frameworks that we have in society today, and helping you understand that the author slash authors of this thing had depth that I don't even know if they understood when they were penning these pages. So stay tuned. Thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, follow, all that stuff. And let's dive in to a topic in a way that it's not going to be a religious conversation. I want to be clear with you. We're going to dive into the language itself. And I'm going to leave the conclusion up to you. Join me. Ask questions in the comments. When I post this stuff, I will make sure to respond. And if you ask good questions, I will respond to them in the next video. So, peace. I really believe in peace. I believe that's what we all want deep down. We are just a little twisted up right now. But together, I think we can begin to speak our voices into the chaotic wilderness around us of political division, family division, national division, ideological division, all these warring camps. And we can maybe, just maybe, in our own little way, start to bring back sanity to a fallen world.